Energy crews are working 24-hour shifts to restore power to some 45,000 customers who lost power after Saturday's attack. It's a threat that authorities have been warning about for years. The hunt is on for the suspect who shot up 2 energy substations in Moore County, North Carolina. Charges could range from conspiracy to possibly murder after one person died in a house with no power.
We're trying at this point in time to validate if it was related to the power outage or just a normal medical condition.
Roughly 35,000 people were still without power Tuesday night, 3 days after the attack. And with no power, life has become difficult for residents, now in the cold and dark. Volunteer groups are handing out food and water to those impacted.
It gives you a lot of hope when people is trying to help you.
The attack raises the possibility of a terror attack, and with no suspect or motive, the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and ATF joining local authorities in the investigation. In its November terrorism bulletin, the Department of Homeland Security warned of potential attacks on power infrastructure.
We're still waiting for the investigation to figure out who's responsible, but it does cause some concern that maybe we have some violent extremist actors at play here.
On CBN's Faith Nation, Scott White, associate professor and director of the cybersecurity program at George Washington University, said the problem points to vulnerabilities in the nation's power grid.
One of the biggest problems we have in the grid is that it's so diffused. I mean, there are miles and miles of tracks of towers that are sitting out there on very unpopulated areas. So the grid itself is really difficult to protect.
With 55,000 substations across the country, authorities are concerned about copycat attacks.
This wasn't an explosive device or a drone attack. This was a rifle. So this is a rather low tech. And the concerning thing is, such a low tech attack can put 45,000 people without power.
While small-scale attacks are easier to pull off, there are concerns of cyber attacks aimed at doing wide-scale damage to the grid. In 2012, then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta issuing this warning.
The collective result of these kinds of attacks could be a cyber Pearl Harbor, an attack that would cause physical destruction and the loss of life, an attack that would paralyze and shock the nation and create a new profound sense of vulnerability.
When asked whether the North Carolina attack was the work of a lone wolf or a terror cell, White said nothing can be ruled out.
It could be anybody from a disgruntled employee, a disgruntled customer, or like you said, it could be someone from an organized terrorist group. We don't know.
Meanwhile, Duke Energy hopes to have all power restored this evening. Charlene, CBN News.